Chapter 951, Reappearance of the Treasure Glow. Ha 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 ha, although I'm a bit late, I should be able to get a share of the treasures, right? A loud laughter suddenly sounded from the pathway alongside a surge of extreme coldness. Everything was changing too quickly. Everyone was still in shock of Zhao Feng's strength when they suddenly felt several powerful auras appear from above. It's Jiang Hao. The purple-robed elder's expression changed. Jiang Hao came from the Jiang family, one of the 8 big families, and he was a peerless prodigy that had awakened his bloodline. Although he was also just a quasi-sacred lord, Jiang Hao's strength easily surpassed the goateed elder, and he was even stronger than normal sacred lords. It's the members of the 7th Prince's team. Lei Tong's heart dropped. The Jiang family supported the 7th Prince in the Crown Prince trial. The 7th Prince was ranked as the 3rd favorite to become Crown Prince. The 3 quasi-sacred lords that followed behind Jiang Hao were all on par with the goateed elder. Although the 3 groups were about to split up, especially Zhao Feng and the purple-robed elder, they were all in the same boat now. Zhao Feng, stop. Our 3 groups need to team up for now. Jing Kai immediately messaged Zhao Feng. Although he was stunned by Zhao Feng's true strength, he still wouldn't be a match for Jiang Hao. Even if Zhao Feng's physical defense was strong and he comparable to a quasi-sacred lord, that wouldn't be enough. The Jiang family had the Ice Demon bloodline, which was ranked in the top 20 among Imperial Dao bloodlines. The chance of awakening it was extremely low. Jiang Hao was definitely an unrivaled existence of the Jiang family against anyone that wasn't a sacred lord yet. Even normal sacred lords might not be his match. Zhao Feng, let's stop for now. This Jiang Hao is a peerless genius from the Jiang family's previous generation, and he is the Ice Demon bloodline. The purple-robed elder's eyes shifted as he also messaged. After experiencing Zhao Feng's punch, the purple-robed elder knew that he wasn't Zhao Feng's match. Jiang Hao's arrival gave him an excuse to stop the fight. When Zhao Feng wasn't paying attention, he would then run off. Since one's senses were limited in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground, it would be basically impossible for Zhao Feng to find him. Jiang Hao? Zhao Feng inspected the handsome white-haired male. Zhao Feng had met some people from the Jiang family in the Divine Illusion dimension, and the one that gave him the deepest impression was Jiang Chen. At that point in time, Jiang Chen was also pretty strong, but in comparison to this Jiang Hao, it was like the difference between heaven and earth. You are Zhao Feng, right? Jiang Hao's eyes were cold as he inspected Zhao Feng with interest. He had heard some things about what happened in the Divine Illusion dimension from the disciples of the Jiang family. However, since that was a feud between youngsters, he obviously wouldn't need to care. He was only interested in Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng was just a king, and yet he dared to enter the center of the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground. If it was another king in his place, they would have already been eroded by the Black Wind and transformed into a Black Wind Yun ghost. Furthermore, Zhao Feng actually had the advantage against a quasi-sacred lord. It was incredulous for a king to have the battle power of a quasi-sacred lord. You want a share of the treasures? Zhao Feng ignored Jiang Hao's question and asked one of his own. Jiang Hao was surprised as he looked at Zhao Feng with a smile. That's right. Do you think I have the right? Hearing the exchange between Zhao Feng and Jiang Hao, the purple-robed elder and company all felt their hearts jump. There were 3 groups on their side, and if they teamed up, Jiang Hao's group wouldn't dare to do anything to them. What was Zhao Feng thinking? Old Ying was also starting to panic. He didn't know that things would end up like this. It isn't a question of whether you have the right or not. Zhao Feng's expression remained the same as he faced Jiang Hao's forcefulness. Oh? Then tell me, what do I have to do to obtain some treasures? Jiang Hao laughed coldly. He wanted to hear what Zhao Feng wanted to say. The 3 quasi-sacred lords behind Jiang Hao also started to laugh. If the 3 groups teamed up, they wouldn't be able to take anything by force. However, it was obvious that there was a great internal feud. On top of that, Zhao Feng was so arrogant that he didn't even put Jiang Hao in his eyes. In this situation, the more they decreased the power of the 3 groups, the more benefits they would be able to obtain. Everyone's eyes trained onto Zhao Feng as Jiang Hao asked his question. They didn't know what Zhao Feng's words meant. What is this Zhao Feng thinking? Why is he spewing so much crap to Jiang Hao? The purple-robed elder cursed in his heart. The fire of wind lightning and the symbols of God tribulation lightning within Zhao Feng's body were suddenly unleashed. A surge of scarlet golden lightning sped toward the pillar in the center of the hall. The instant Zhao Feng circulated his true yuan, Jiang Hao tensed up and circulated his bloodline power, but he was completely dumbfounded. He originally thought that the arrogant Zhao Feng would attack him, but instead, Zhao Feng punched toward an empty hall. However, the hearts of the purple-robed elder, Old Ying, and the goateed elder jumped. They knew how terrifying Zhao Feng's action was. Zhao Feng's punch was headed toward the array on the pillar, and the goateed elder had already shown everyone how terrifying this array was. This gold and white array could repel all attacks with an even stronger force at a speed that no one could react to. Everyone shook and instinctively took a few steps back. Not good, Zhao Feng wants to kill me. The purple-robed elder felt a life and death danger. He never would have thought that Zhao Feng still wanted to kill him even though they had reached this stage. There was no time to use the array in his dragon jade at all. Retreat. The purple-robed elder instantly took a step back. Boom. The next instant, his head exploded. The stunned expression on his face was destroyed as well. A fist mark was left behind on the wall behind the purple-robed elder. Who? Everyone was dead silent. All that could be heard was the weird whistle of the black wind. Dead? Lei Tong's heart trembled. How is this possible? He took a step back. The goateed elder was in disbelief. When Zhao Feng attacked, the purple-robed elder reacted in time and took a step back. Only then did Zhao Feng's attack land on the array and get reflected. Then why did the attack still hit the purple-robed elder? Jiang Hao's eyes went wide as well, and he took a deep breath. The three behind him were all stunned, and their minds went blank. They didn't understand how a casual fist from Zhao Feng toward an empty hall resulted in the purple-robed elder's head exploding. A quasi-sacred lord died just like that. He used the array. An elder with white hair in Jiang Hao's group looked toward the center of the hall with sparkling eyes, then black wind covered the hall once more. Sorry, but I calculated that you would take a step back, Zhao Feng said in a low tone toward the body of the purple-robed elder, as if that would allow him to rest in peace. How is this possible? Hearing what Zhao Feng said, the people who were familiar with array theory were stunned. Firstly, just calculating the projection of the rebound was extremely difficult. It definitely couldn't be done with one glance. However, Zhao Feng also said that he calculated the purple-robed elder's one step back as well. No one believed him, and yet reality was right in front of them. Only now did everyone feel how terrifying this youth was. He killed someone effortlessly by taking advantage of the array, and the victim didn't even have any time to react to his death. Even if the purple-robed elder had been able to start up the array in his dragon jade, he wouldn't have been able to escape in time. This is Zhao Feng? Jing Kai looked at Zhao Feng with a stunned look, as if this was the first time he was meeting Zhao Feng. Just one person alone managed to scare everyone present, including the famous Jiang Hao. He took control of the entire situation. The goateed elder was extremely regretful. He shouldn't have taken his side so quickly. Zhao Feng took the purple-robed elder's interspatial ring before looking at Jiang Hao. One has to put in effort to receive compensation, Zhao Feng finally replied to Jiang Hao's question. Jiang Hao's eyes were grim. The array grandmaster and his group had just told him the theory of how Zhao Feng killed the purple-robed elder. Jiang Hao had to admit that Zhao Feng's punch just now had stunned everyone, including himself. This youth wasn't simple. You're right. Receiving compensation without effort is indeed not acceptable, Jiang Hao suddenly said, and everyone else let out a breath. The strength of Jiang Hao's group couldn't be ignored, but Zhao Feng's display had scared them. Now that Jiang Hao had given in, everyone realized that they should thank Zhao Feng. There is a profound array in the hall, and my group has an array grandmaster, Jiang Hao said. It's Grandmaster Wu Yu from the Yuan province, right? Old Ying looked at the white-haired elder. It is indeed this old man. Wu Yu slowly walked forward from behind Jiang Hao and looked deeply at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng paused for a moment. He originally thought that this journey had come to an end, but an array grandmaster suddenly jumped out. Zhao Feng's left eye inspected the green bronze pillar in the hall, then looked downward. For some reason, he felt that something was off. If Grandmaster Wu Yu can contribute, this will be yours. Zhao Feng waved the interspatial ring that he just took off the purple-robed elder. Many thanks, Grandmaster Wu Yu. Jiang Hao's eyes twinkled. I'll go over and have a look. The black wind around them was too concentrated, and almost nothing could be seen in the center of the hall. Wu Yu slowly walked into the hall, but he soon came back out and looked at Jiang Hao before shaking his head. This is the most mysterious and complex array I have ever seen in my life. I can do nothing about it. Jiang Hao's group revealed a disappointed expression. Grandmaster Wu Yu is the most famous array expert in the Yuan province. If he said there was no way, then there was really no way at all. Let's go, Zhao Feng. Our journey has come to an end. Old Ying slowly walked over. They were unable to solve the array, so they were destined to not be together with the treasure. There were no other paths after this hall. I'll be going as well. The goateed elder led his group and was about to leave as well. They had obtained enough treasures just now. All they needed to do was find a safe spot and wait for the Crown Prince trial to come to an end. Lei Tong and the young emperor looked at each other. The purple-robed elder died, and they glanced at Jiang Hao's group with wariness. The two followed behind Old Ying and company and hoped that Jiang Hao wouldn't trouble them. Just as they were about to leave. Boom. 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 The ground beneath them started to shake. Hoo boom. A 9-colored light shot out from beneath the green bronze pillar and into the sky. The entire hall was covered by a 9-colored light, and a ripple of light washed over everyone. The dark dimension turned into a magnificent and dazzling hall. Chapter 952, Weird. Everyone's gaze was attracted to the 9-colored light coming from the green bronze pillar, and they were unable to turn away. Only Zhao Feng's left eye blinked with a ripple of golden light. At the same time, the symbols of God tribulation lightning within his soul all flashed. As I thought. Zhao Feng murmured lightly. This time, he was much closer to the 9-colored light, so he could see it more clearly with his left eye. This 9-colored light was constructed from soul power, meaning that this stunning treasure glow was actually fake. Zhao Feng put one hand on Old Ying, and a surge of soul intent and God tribulation lightning covered Old Ying's soul. Old Ying, don't move. I have no ill intent, Zhao Feng messaged at the same time. Who? The air of yin and 9-colored light within Old Ying's soul was slowly forced out by Zhao Feng. Old Ying's eyes instantly became clear, and then he revealed a fearful expression. Zhao Feng, thank you. Old Ying took a deep breath as he messaged Zhao Feng. I never would have thought that we were tricked into coming the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground. Old Ying analyzed everything as soon as he woke up, and he sighed in his heart. Ever since they entered the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground, the black wind had been eroding them, and the desires in the bottom of their hearts were slowly magnified. Even Old Ying didn't realize that his personality had changed. A 9-colored light then shot into the air, and the effect the black wind became even stronger. The purple-robed elder suddenly taking action against Zhao Feng, as well as the interference by the goateed elder, was also due to the change in personality. Next to them, Jing Kai had been completely twisted by the black wind and the 9-colored light. He had become weak, selfish, and emotionless. All he wanted was treasure. He could only blame that his mind was too weak and that he had too many hidden desires. Even Old Ying didn't have the confidence to awaken Jing Kai now. Old Ying closed his eyes and started to circulate his soul intent to protect his soul while trying to probe the 9-colored light ahead of him. It's actually a profound soul power. Old Ying was completely shocked as he turned around and looked at the others. Apart from Zhao Feng and himself, everyone's gaze was focused on the green bronze pillar as it gave off the 9-colored light and completely ignored everything else. The desire for treasure was completely revealed on their faces. Old Ying was scared of this place. Let's wait a little bit. If there's an emergency, use the array in your dragon jade, Zhao Feng said. This kid. Old Ying couldn't see through Zhao Feng. He was just a king, and yet he was able to maintain his consciousness in this place and even wake up Old Ying at the critical moment. At this moment, he was actually able to look at the 9-colored light with no problem. Old Ying was suspicious that perhaps Zhao Feng was a reincarnated expert. Boom. Wang wang. The 9-colored light coming from the green bronze pillar started to slowly fade away until it completely disappeared and returned to normal. The entire hall became dark once more. Everyone that was just about to leave all stopped and looked at the green bronze pillar. Let's have a try at obtaining such a treasure. Everyone's eyes twinkled as they looked at Wu Yu with hope. Old Ying watched this scene with fear. Everyone in the hall was acting like someone was controlling their actions. Why would the 9-colored light appear so suddenly, right at the moment they were about to leave? Black Windian ghosts suddenly appeared from the fork earlier when they were hesitating on which to choose, leading the way to this hall. All the Black Windian ghosts then screeched and retreated. All of this seemed planned by a certain mysterious power. Zhao Feng, what's hiding under there? Old Ying asked. It might be a treasure, or it might be something else. Zhao Feng's left eye wasn't able to see all the way through. He also wanted to know the secret of this place, which is why he followed everyone even though they were all losing their minds. Zhao Feng, should we stop Wu Yu? Old Ying looked at Wu Yu, who was slowly approaching the complex and mysterious golden white array lines. Why? Even if we manage to stop them this time, more people will come here, to this hall. More people will come in the next Crown Prince trial. Are we supposed to guard this place forever? Zhao Feng's reply made Old Ying speechless. In reality, Old Ying also wanted to know the secret of this place. Let everything be as it's supposed to be then. Old Ying sighed in his heart and got ready to use his dragon jade. Wu Yu closed his eyes before the green bronze pillar and spread his soul intent throughout the structure of the array. Wu Yu's soul intent slowly merged into the array and into the golden white array lines. Blood dripped from Wu Yu's mouth. He was obviously using too much energy. However, no one cared. All they hoped for was for Wu Yu to break the array, even if it was just a little. As time passed, everyone started to become impatient. Wu Yu's soul intent was completely immersed in this array. He didn't even realize that he had coughed out blood several times. A gust of black wind suddenly appeared from one of the pathways. Wu tilde. Countless black wind yin ghosts charged into the hall. Not good. It's the black wind yin ghosts that retreated a while ago. The goateed elder exclaimed. Then we kill them all. We can't let them disturb Grandmaster Wu Yu. Jiang Hao's face went cold and was about to attack. Jiang Hao, wait. Someone from Jiang Hao's group stopped him. Look, they're helping us break the array. The elder yelled with joy. Countless king and emperor level black wind yin ghosts charged toward a certain point on the array. Boom. A black wind yin ghost was instantly repelled and killed. Wu tilde. The second black wind yin ghost charged forward and started to bite into it. Boom. This black wind yin ghost was killed by the repelling force as well. The third. The fourth. Old Ying watched this scene with shock. His hairs stood on end, and he instinctively took a few steps back. Great. They're helping us break the array. Jing Kai's eyes twinkled as he exclaimed. Looks like these black wind yin ghosts want us to get the treasure. The goateed elder stroked his beard and laughed. Wu Yu had a pale face and spat out a mouthful of blood before crumbling to the ground. His consciousness had completely merged into the array, and it was the same point where the black wind yin ghosts were attacking. Wu tilde. A slight crack appeared on the golden white array. Boom. The entire hall shook once more. Whoosh. Boom. A thick mist as black as ink wrapped around the green bronze pillar and charged into the sky, and a terrifying aura started to spread. At this instant, the hall seemed to become hell. A wicked and cold aura made everyone unable to breathe. Whoosh. This ball of black mist turned into the head of a snarling monster and devoured Wu Yu's body. What's going on? Why did the nine-colored light suddenly turn into this terrifying mist? Senior Wu Yu was eaten by that mist. No matter how dumb they were, the fear in their hearts was suddenly awakened by this powerful and terrifying aura. Old Ying, run. Zhao Feng immediately messaged. Who? After Wu Yu's body disappeared, the snarling head became bigger and charged toward the group of people. A strong suction force came from the black mist monster's mouth. Arg. Help me. The young emperor from Lei Tong's group was heavily affected by this place and was immediately sucked into the black mist. Zhao Feng and Old Ying instantly used secret techniques to increase their speed and were the first to disappear into the pathway. Before Old Ying left, he also dragged Jing Kai along as well. Only then did everyone else react and start running away. Arg. What is that? A quasi-sacred lord from the goateed elders group was sucked into the black mist. Dragon. Dragon Jade. He trembled and used the array within the dragon jade, and a layer of light started spreading. Whoosh. However, in the next instant, he was devoured by the snarling beast head before he was able to teleport away. Boom. The beast head made of black mist turned into several balls of black mist, transformed into smaller heads, and chased after everyone that tried to run away. Zhao Feng used his lightning wings spatial flash to run away and inspected the situation behind with his left eye. The people that had been eaten by the beast head have entered the array through the small crack. Zhao Feng was shocked. What kind of technique was this? What could shrink a human into the size of a crack? Not good. Zhao Feng realized one of the black mist heads was heading in his direction. Whoosh. Zhao Feng no longer inspected what was happening behind him. He focused on using his lightning wings spatial flash to run away. Whoosh! The instant Zhao Feng escaped the cave, he felt that the danger disappeared. The Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground was still shaking though. Looks like the balls of black mist can't appear outside yet. Zhao Feng guessed. Zhao Feng, let's leave this place quickly. We might be able to save Jing Kai. Old Ying looked at the fainted Jing Kai with worry. After all, he was still a member of the Ninth Prince's team. The Ninth Prince only had 7 people, so they couldn't afford to lose anyone. At this moment, the black wind in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground was gathering and becoming more chaotic, as if it was about to return to its former strength. Okay. The ripple of golden light coming from Zhao Feng's left eye started to dim. Anyone that could have escaped would have already. The ground became calm once more. However, before they managed to make it very far, a wall exploded, and a storm caused by the destruction of a little world swept in every direction, and a black gust of wind blew out from underground. Woo! This black gust of wind turned into a huge black wind yin ghost and leapt toward Zhao Feng. Not good, the little world has crumbled. This black wind yin ghost is formed from the sacred Lord Intent, which has become wicked. Old Ying's soul eye looked at the intent that hadn't completely transformed into a black wind yin ghost yet, and it radiated a strong surge of yin and deadly soul power. Chapter 953, Escape. Not good, the little world has crumbled. This black wind yin ghost is formed from the sacred Lord Intent, which has become wicked. Old Ying looked ahead with panic and fear. Some sacred lord had most likely set up their inheritance in the Black Wind Canyon, but as time passed, the erosion of the black wind corrupted the little world. The sacred Lord Intent imprinted within the little world had become wicked, and it was no longer just an intent anymore. It now had the ability to leave the little world. Whoosh! Whoosh! A soul intent that was still in the process of transforming into a black wind yin ghost came rushing over with a surge of yin and deadly soul power. Even a measly king dares to come here? Hand over your body to me. Kek. The sound given off by this twisted black wind yin ghost was like the sound of bones rubbing against each another. It sent chills down one's spine and made one's hairs stand up on end. This demonized sacred Lord Intent had chosen to take over Zhao Feng's body. Wind Lightning Eye Flame. A golden glow appeared in Zhao Feng's left eye, and the symbols of God Tribulation Lightning flashed as a surge of flames shot out of his left eye. Boom tilde. A ball of transparent golden purple lightning flames with an aura of destruction exploded onto the demonized sacred Lord Intent. Zhao Feng's Wind Lightning Eye Flame was a pure soul attack based on the God Tribulation Lightning, which was especially effective against souls. Furthermore, soul attacks countered wicked and evil beings to begin with. Bam! Boom! Boom! The demonized sacred Lord Intent felt as if 10,000 lightning bolts had exploded in its body, and the God Tribulation Lightning Eye Flames were still burning. Arg! How can this be the soul strength of a junior? The demonized sacred Lord Intent screamed, and it revealed a tinge of wariness in its snarling expression as it looked at Zhao Feng. Because the demonized sacred Lord Intent had underestimated its opponent, both his insides and outsides had been scorched, and there was a burning pain throughout its body. So strong. Is this his true strength? While Old Ying was retreating, he was also watching Zhao Feng's soul attack. The aura of this demonized sacred Lord Intent's soul wasn't weaker than an early-stage sacred lord, and yet it was still injured by Zhao Feng. With such mastery over the soul, it was no wonder why Zhao Feng wasn't scared of the purple-robed elder, Zhang Hao, or the goateed elder. Zhao Feng was much stronger than them. Let's go. Zhao Feng urged. The black wind in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground was slowly becoming stronger. In such an environment, the enemy had a huge advantage. As long as it wasn't killed in an instant, it would be able to absorb the yin in the air to recover completely. Zhao Feng was still just a king, and the black wind's effect on him was increasing dramatically. At this moment, they were still in the center of the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground. Everything in front of them was pitch black. Old Ying immediately used a secret technique to escape. Damn it, this junior's soul attack contains the laws of destruction. The demonized sacred Lord Intent recovered, but it felt its consciousness becoming weaker and weaker. Not good. I need to find a body to take over quickly. The demonized sacred Lord Intent's expression was twisted, and its consciousness was slowly being devoured. It had to find a body to take over in order to recover its original state, or else it would become just another mindless Black Wind Yin ghost. All of you, go. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent released a surge of yin, and the nearby Black Wind Yin ghost started to howl. Wu tilde. The Black Wind Yin ghosts nearby started to scream, and they turned into gusts of black wind and charged toward Zhao Feng and Old Ying. If one looked at this from afar, they would see a giant black storm that gave off countless cries and howls. Old Ying's hair stood up on end, and cold sweat started to appear. He didn't even need to look back. The cries and howls behind him were like 100,000 evil ghosts from hell. Old Ying was prepared to use the array in his dragon jade at any moment. Zhao Feng's speed was a bit faster than Old Ying, and his expression became ugly when he looked back. While these Black Wind Yin ghosts were weak individually, there were at least several hundred of them right now. On top of that, there was still the demonized Sacred Lord Intent. It would be horrible if they caught up. He had left spatial markings in other areas of the Imperial tombs, but not in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground, meaning that he couldn't use the misty spatial world to leave. He could take Old Ying and leave, but the Ninth Prince and Zhou Su'er were still waiting for them. Sacred lightning dominating body. Zhao Feng's figure grew taller and a ripple of gold and blue lightning appeared around him, increasing his resistance against the Black Wind Yin ghosts. Zhao Feng then casually threw out several punches. Giant golden punches filled the air. Each one of them contained a strong illusion. In an instant, the wave of Black Wind Yin ghosts slowed down. Zhao Feng didn't think about killing the Black Wind Yin ghosts. All he wanted to do was use his illusion maze domain to make them lose their sense of direction. Kek. Old man, give your body to me. While Zhao Feng was attacking the ghosts, the demonized Sacred Lord Intent suddenly appeared from the side and charged at Old Ying. Not good. Zhao Feng's expression was grim. He didn't expect the demonized Sacred Lord Intent to give up on him and go for Old Ying instead. Old Ying's mastery of the Soul Dao was definitely not a match for the demonized Sacred Lord Intent. What? Old Ying was instantly caught by the demonized Sacred Lord Intent. A surge of strong soul pressure appeared and froze Old Ying's body. Just as the demonized Sacred Lord Intent was about to enter Old Ying's body. Gaze. Of. The. God. Eye. A stunning purple and golden light appeared from Zhao Feng's left eye. A bottomless whirlpool that extended to a purple and golden abyss formed in Zhao Feng's left eye, and a forbidden power that locked onto the power of souls appeared wherever Zhao Feng looked. What is this? The demonized Sacred Lord Intent instantly felt a strong suction force. Old Ying, who was extremely close to the demonized Sacred Lord Intent, also felt a terrifying pulling force. It was as if his soul wanted to leave his body. What a terrifying skill. Old Ying quickly left the range of Zhao Feng's gaze and ran away with fear. He knew that Zhao Feng was restricting the demonized Sacred Lord Intent in order to let him run away. Damn it, this junior. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent roared in anger, but it was helpless. Since his body was formed entirely from soul intent, his entire body was pulled by Zhao Feng. If Zhao Feng tried to pull away the soul of a normal person, their soul would still be able to struggle within their body, but a pure soul body had much less resistance against Zhao Feng's gaze of the God Eye. However, even then, the demonized Sacred Lord Intent managed to struggle, and Zhao Feng was unable to move it into the dimension of his left eye. One could only say that the demonized Sacred Lord Intent was too powerful and that its desire to live was too strong. Let go of me. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent roared, but its body wasn't under its own control anymore. It could faintly see a misty city, and the scenery in front of its eyes started to become chaotic. This brat's soul-sucking technique contains the Tao of illusion as well? The demonized Sacred Lord Intent was filled with fear. Brat, let go of me, and I'll agree to not take over your companion's body. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent could already feel its consciousness starting to fade away, and it was about to be replaced by a wicked and mindless intent. If this continued, it would be the one to lose. It had to give up on Zhao Feng and Old Ying and find another person nearby, only then would there be a slight chance of survival. Zhao Feng looked at Old Ying, who had flown very far away already, and stopped the gaze of the God Eye. The stronger the target's soul, the more energy would be required. At this point in time, the demonized Sacred Lord Intent was struggling with insanity, so it would be too hard to kill it. Lightning Wings Spatial Flash. Whoosh. Zhao Feng turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed toward the border of the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground. Outside the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground, Ninth Prince, let's go. Old Ying immediately came to where the Ninth Prince was hiding. Old Ying, where are Zhao Feng and Jin Kai? The Ninth Prince had been inspecting the situation in the Black Wind Canyon and only had one feeling: strange. No one else that entered had come out yet, and the Black Wind was quickly returning to its original strength. His clenched heart loosened after seeing Old Ying, but it tightened once more after seeing no one else. Let's go. Zhao Feng should be able to quickly catch up. Old Ying urged and led the two to escape. Old Ying knew that even Zhao Feng couldn't kill the demonized Sacred Lord Intent. He was stalling the demonized Sacred Lord Intent in order to let Old Ying take Zhou Su'er and the Ninth Prince and run away. If the demonized Sacred Lord Intent arrived, then the Ninth Prince and Zhou Su'er would become targets. No matter how talented Zhao Feng was, he couldn't protect three people at once. Updated by BoxNovel.com. Zhao Feng flew out of the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground soon after the three left. His left eye caught sight of Old Ying and company, and he immediately followed after them. At the same time, several thousand miles away from the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground, the black-robed persons group was hurrying over. Senior Black Robes, the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground is ahead of us. One member was extremely scared as they guessed the black-robed person's destination and quickly warned. Was the black-robed person taking them to a forbidden ground to find inheritances? Even if there were countless inheritances and fortunes in a forbidden ground, they needed to be alive to obtain anything. The black-robed person's actions and thoughts were completely different from everyone else. The other two members also revealed fearful gazes. Zhao Feng. An excited and cold voice suddenly sounded from the black-robed person. Who tilde? The black-robed person turned into a floating black figure and sped toward the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground. Chapter 954, Center. The instant Zhao Feng left the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground, the demonized Sacred Lord Intent charged out. Damn it, there's no one else in the Black Wind Canyon. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent was starting to panic. It could feel its consciousness becoming chaotic, and over 90% of its transparent soul had now turned black, the same color as the Black Windian ghosts. There's someone coming. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent seemed to latch onto the last straw of hope, and it was trembling with excitement as it charged toward a black figure in the distance. Kek. Give your body to me. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent leapt at the flying black-robed person. The black-robed person's expression suddenly changed. What the heck is this? Humph. The black-robed person snickered coldly after feeling the enmity, and he charged at the ball of soul Intent without fear. Who tilde? The demonized Sacred Lord Intent instantly rushed into the black-robed person's body. Boom. Within an instant, the demonized Sacred Lord Intent screamed and rushed back out of the black-robed person's body, and it had lost a lot of its strength. That isn't the body of a human. The demonized Sacred Lord Intent exclaimed in a trembling tone. The moment it entered the black-robed person's body, a powerful surging aura threw it out. The power even exceeded its master from its previous life. It was unable to even see through the laws and intents contained within this power. How is this possible? How can there be such power? The demonized Sacred Lord Intent's consciousness was completely blurry, and it was unable to speak properly. Who tilde? Its entire body turned into a large black Windian ghost, and the wicked aura was completely unleashed. Wu tilde. The giant black Windian ghost charged at the black-robed person. Gaze of death. A cold voice and a supreme intent of death came from the black-robed person. An undefinable intent of death spread from the black-robed person's eyes. The sky turned dark, and the grass withered and lost all life wherever his gaze landed. The giant black Windian ghost in front of him was instantly restrained by this forbidden power. Wu tilde. The black Windian ghost roared in fear and panic. The wicked power on the surface of its body was slowly starting to fade away. All life was destroyed by the intent of death. This was an ultimate power that even heaven and earth couldn't stop. At this moment, the other members in the black-robed person's group arrived. The shadow of death instantly covered them, and an undefinable power seemed to steal everything within their body. Intent of death? Retreat. Is this Senior Black Robe's strength? The three members quickly retreated and took in deep breaths. The shockwave from the black-robed person was so terrifying that they couldn't even approach. They could even feel a bit of the life within their bodies fading away, including the lifespan of their souls. Who tilde? As the power of the Black Wind Yin ghost weakened, a faint soul was dragged out. You're a descendant of the Godeyes. This soul was a sacred lord intent from before. It didn't expect that it would be able to recover its consciousness even after becoming a Black Wind Yin ghost, but it wasn't able to escape death. Whoosh. The transparent sacred lord intent started to wither and become weaker under the intent of death, and it was absorbed into the black robes. The black-robed person looked at this world of darkness before turning around and leaving. Senior Black Robes, where are we headed now? A member went forward and asked with a smile. He finally understood why the black-robed person was the group leader. With the black-robed person's strength, even normal sacred lords would be killed. The center, the black-robed person replied. Because everyone had left the Black Wind Canyon forbidden ground, no one heard a wicked laughter from its depths. Ha 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 ha, it looks like my 2 breaths of origin she didn't go to waste. These low-level meatbags should be enough. Zhao Feng's here. The 9th Prince and company saw a bolt of scarlet lightning behind them and stopped. It's good that he is okay. Old Ying had a slightly awkward expression. He was the group leader, but Zhao Feng was the one that stalled the demonized sacred lord intent while he had run away first. Luckily, Zhao Feng had returned safely. Let's find a safe place first to discuss how to save Jing Kai. Old Ying had a grim expression. Although Jing Kai wasn't very strong, he was one of the main fighting members in the group. They couldn't lose him just like that. Their group soon arrived below a cliff. Who? Old Ying let Jing Kai out of his little world. At this time, Jing Kai's body was black, and there was an aura of yin radiating from him. The air of yin is eroding him, and a strong surge of soul power is affecting his mind, Zhou Su'er analyzed after giving Jing Kai a couple glances. Zhao Feng paused for a moment. Zhou Su'er's healing capabilities were indeed not simple for her to be able to see all that with just a couple glances. Zhao Feng could do it too, but he would at least need to use his left eye. That's about it. Can you heal him? Old Ying nodded. He knew a bit about Zhou Su'er's healing abilities. The air of yin can be forced out, but that mysterious soul power in his soul is hard to get rid of. Zhou Su'er thought for a moment before answering. At this moment, Jing Kai recovered his consciousness and opened his eyes blurrily. Eh? Old Ying? We came out? Jing Kai sat up and looked around. Sigh. Unfortunately, there was a wicked spirit guarding the treasure underground. Jing Kai still didn't forget about the treasure in the Black Wind Canyon. Everyone looked at Jing Kai speechlessly. He almost died in the Black Wind Canyon and was still thinking about the treasure? On top of that, Zhao Feng and Old Ying risked their lives to take him out, but he didn't even show any signs of gratitude. His personality has already changed a lot. Even if we can get rid of that mysterious soul power, I can't guarantee that he will turn back to the original Jing Kai. Zhou Su'er added as she looked at Jing Kai. Zhou Su'er, what did you just say about me? Jing Kai's expression changed, and his eyes became deadly. The atmosphere instantly died down. Zhou Su'er, just force the air of yin out of his body first. Old Ying looked at the completely new Jing Kai and broke the silence. We'll get rid of the yin and the soul power first before we think about anything else. Zhou Su'er agreed with what Old Ying said. They would first remove the air of yin and the soul power in Jing Kai's body. As long as he became healthier, there was still hope for other stuff. Jing Kai, it's okay. Let Zhou Su'er get rid of the air of yin within your body, Old Ying persuaded. Fine. I do feel that my body is uncomfortable. Old Ying still had a certain status in Jing Kai's heart, but he was still wary and suspicious of Zhou Su'er. Old Ying, what happened in the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground? A total of 4 groups entered, but only you guys came out. The 9th Prince couldn't suppress his curiosity. I'm not sure either. Any forbidden ground in the Imperial tombs is a dangerous place that hasn't been fully probed by the Imperials yet. After all, this is a forgotten ancient dimension, Old Ying replied solemnly before sighing. The others may have used the array in their dragon jades to escape. The 9th Prince's heart shook as he realized how dangerous the Black Wind Canyon Forbidden Ground was. Apart from Old Ying and Zhao Feng, the others had all either used the array in their dragon jade or were killed. But we also obtained a lot this time. We passed through 2 inheritances that didn't have any tests, and we were able to directly obtain the wealth of a sacred lord and plenty of draconic providence. Old Ying changed the topic. Old Ying and Zhao Feng then transferred all the draconic providence within their dragon jades to the ninth prince's pseudo-crown prince seal. However, although they had both entered the Black Wind Canyon at the same time, the draconic providence within Old Ying's dragon jade wasn't even half of Zhao Feng's. Zhao Feng, do you not use the power of draconic providence to protect yourself? Old Ying was stunned. Everyone that entered this dimension would use the draconic providence to decrease the pressure. As time passed, everyone would slowly adapt to it and would use up less draconic providence than before. Draconic providence could be used for anything defensive, such as protecting themselves from all sorts of attacks, such as the Black Wind Yin ghosts. Old Ying was using a wisp of draconic providence every second to protect himself against the laws and intents in this dimension. However, the air of Yin had still slowly eroded him. On the other hand, Zhao Feng didn't use any draconic providence at all and was still able to stay awake. Let's head toward the center of the Imperial Tombs. With Zhao Feng joining them, Old Ying felt safer. Jing Kai also couldn't leave Zhou Suer's side. Zhao Feng, I hope that you will place less importance on the wealth in these inheritances and help the ninth prince as much as you can. Old Ying had a begging look. Zhao Feng replied simply. After obtaining the wealth from the two inheritances in the Black Wind Canyon and all that wealth from the underground area, he already had enough. At this point, Zhao Feng wouldn't even bother with beginning stage and early stage Sacred Lord inheritances unless he knew they had a specific item he needed. Brother Zhao is already helping me as much as he can, the ninth prince smiled and said. The draconic providence that Zhao Feng had given him both times was more than anyone else. Updated by BoxNovel.com. Okay, we're very far away from the center. In this period of time, we need to help Zhao Feng tame the beasts here. Old Ying announced the plan. They would head toward their destination while taming beasts on the way. Conquering inheritances required time, and they would only be able to acquire draconic providence when it was conquered. On the other hand, taming beasts would net them some draconic providence while also building up their strength. In 5 days' time, Zhao Feng tamed another 2 beast groups. At the same time, the air of Yin within Jing Kai's body was forced out. The mysterious soul power hidden within Jing Kai's soul was too profound, and Zhou Suer couldn't do anything about it for now. Besides, Jing Kai's personality hadn't changed too much yet. If this continues, Jing Kai will become a big trouble for our group. Old Ying was worried. He doesn't believe us anymore and thinks that we're after his wealth. Everyone avoided Jing Kai in disgust. Why don't you let me take care of him? Zhao Feng's voice suddenly sounded. Chapter 955, Tai Ling Yun. Everyone looked at Zhao Feng in surprise. You can get rid of the mysterious soul power within his soul? Suspicion flashed through Zhou Suer's eyes. She still couldn't understand Zhao Feng's mysterious method that he used in the Saint Herb Pavilion to get rid of the poison. On top of that, Zhao Feng's mastery of the soul was not simple. Old Ying revealed a thoughtful expression. Zhao Feng managed to remove the 9-colored treasure glow from Old Ying's soul in the Black Wind Canyon, but the situation with Jing Kai was different. Zhou Suer had spent 5 days just to force out the air of Yin within his soul. From this, one could see how strong the poison in Jing Kai's soul was. Zhao Feng's method required the target's cooperation. They couldn't resist, or it wouldn't work. Now that Jing Kai was suspicious of everyone, how could he possibly let Zhao Feng's soul intent enter the depths of his soul? I can change his personality while I'm at it, Zhao Feng added. This was what Zhao Feng truly meant in the first place. Everyone took in a deep breath when they heard that, and they looked at Zhao Feng in confusion. You have the ability to change personality? Zhou Suer asked. Now that Jing Kai's personality had already changed, all Zhou Suer could think of was to make him enter some Buddhist force and follow some monks in order to slowly change back to who he once was. The ninth prince and Old Ying were both extremely puzzled and surprised. Zhao Feng wasn't exactly a kind person. They didn't believe that Zhao Feng could just persuade Jing Kai to change. Since none of you can do anything, I can at least make sure that he will try his best when working with us. Zhao Feng rolled his eyes. Zhao Feng didn't think much of Jing Kai's strength, but like Old Ying said, the ninth prince's team couldn't lose anyone. Give him to Zhao Feng. Old Ying agreed. They had nothing else they could do anyways. Although he was puzzled, he felt confident in Zhao Feng. He could faintly guess what Zhao Feng was going to do based on what he said, but it didn't matter anymore. Jing Kai, who was still resting, found that the expressions of everyone else weren't right and became suspicious. Zhao Feng then suddenly walked over toward him. "What do you want?" Jing Kai started to panic. The strength that Zhao Feng had displayed in the Black Wind Canyon was fresh in Jing Kai's memories, and he was scared. Who tilde? With a wave of his left hand, Zhao Feng put Jing Kai into the misty spatial world. Zhao Feng was God in the misty spatial world, and the laws within the misty spatial world bound Jing Kai. Zhao Feng walked over to Jing Kai and released a surge of powerful soul intent. Wu! Jing Kai's body and soul became heavily suppressed, and he was unable to circulate his true yuan or soul intent. Dark Heart Seal. A purple and golden seal with a faint aura of God tribulation lightning formed in Zhao Feng's left eye and slowly imprinted itself into the depths of Jing Kai's soul. Although Jing Kai had the battle power of an unrivaled emperor, his soul wasn't quite as strong. Zhao Feng's soul was comparable to a sacred lord, so he was easily able to imprint the Dark Heart Seal into Jing Kai. A while later. "Master, I understand your efforts. Please heal me." Jing Kai half knelt in front of Zhao Feng. Although Jing Kai's fundamental personality wouldn't change after the Dark Heart Seal was imprinted into him, he would believe anything Zhao Feng said. If Zhao Feng was a good teacher, he might even be able to transform Jing Kai into a decent person, but Zhao Feng didn't have that kind of time. "I will first remove the mysterious soul power in your soul. Don't resist." Zhao Feng put one hand on Jing Kai's head, and a surge of soul intent that could reach the heavens was unleashed from Zhao Feng's body. "Understood, Zhao Feng." Jing Kai relaxed and changed the title from Master to Zhao Feng. After all, Zhao Feng was a fellow team member, so calling him Master would make the others scared of Zhao Feng to some degree. Who tilde? Zhao Feng's soul intent passed through his arm and slowly seeped into Jing Kai's soul. Because of the lightning soul body, the God Tribulation lightning was automatically ingrained into Zhao Feng's soul power. At the same time, Zhao Feng used his God's spiritual eye to see where the evil soul power was hiding in Jing Kai's soul, and he started to carefully force it out. However, this power was deeply ingrained in Jing Kai's soul, so Zhao Feng needed a lot of time. Of course, all of this was done during the breaks on their journey. After all, the first stage of the Crown Prince trial was about to end, and everyone needed to head toward the center of the imperial tombs. Zhao Feng didn't let Jing Kai out during this period of time. Jing Kai simply stayed in the misty spatial world and cultivated. After the Black Wind Canyon, Jing Kai's soul intent had actually been refined, but Zhao Feng was still not satisfied with his strength. The biggest difference between the Ninth Prince's team and the other princes was that he didn't have anyone with the battle power of a sacred lord. After healing Jing Kai, Zhao Feng finally had time to consolidate his strength. Zhao Feng had experienced countless big and small battles after entering the Crown Prince trial, and he had no time to comprehend everything yet. Those of the older generation were experienced. For example, Sacred Lord Hundred Refine's close combat techniques were the essence of the Cao family. At the same time, Zhao Feng would occasionally enter the ancient dream realm. Zhao Feng realized that he was starting to adapt to the ancient dream realm even better now. One day, Zhao Feng enslaved another flying beast in an ancient forest. An emperor-level black male eagle landed on Zhao Feng's head. Who tilde? After leaving the ancient dream realm and returning to the imperial tombs, Zhao Feng stood on a mountain cliff and let the black eagle fly in the sky. That's the fifth, Zhao Feng murmured softly with a smile. Under the cliff, everyone had entered a state of cultivation. They all felt that they were extremely weak in the Crown Prince trial. They needed to take every moment possible to cultivate. The Ninth Prince was extremely hardworking, and since he was talented as well, his progress was extremely fast. Over the next couple days, apart from resting and heading toward their destination, everyone only had one other thing to do: help Zhao Feng tame beasts. Zhao Feng, we tamed the winged wolf pack and the night wolf pack last time. You have enough agility and offense-type beasts, Old Ying analyzed. Over the last two encounters, Old Ying understood Zhao Feng's beast-taming ability. All he could say was that Zhao Feng was perfect in every aspect, as if he wasn't a human. Zhao Feng could have taken any position in the team. Old Ying even felt that Zhao Feng could have taken his own spot. When it came to analyzing weaknesses and foreseeing danger, Old Ying had to admit that he wasn't as good as Zhao Feng. We now need power-type beasts. Old Ying's eyes sparkled. After learning about Zhao Feng's beast-taming abilities, Old Ying's plan changed. Zhao Feng's beasts would be a critical point in the Crown Prince trial. Old Ying placed great importance on this, and he was willing to spend a lot of time and effort to help expand Zhao Feng's beast collection. Power type? Zhao Feng remembered his ice crystal giant bear, but old Ying obviously needed a much larger number. Zhao Feng never expected the Crown Prince trial to be so complex. From the looks of it, the position of beast tamer wasn't simple either. It's here. Everyone stopped in front of a dimly lit forest. A chaotic, wild, and bloodthirsty aura instantly swept toward them. Boom. There was an occasional crash and some beasts howling from within it. Everyone could sense that this place wasn't simple. We've arrived at the center regions of the Imperial Tombs. This is a place where beasts gather, and there are many powerful beast packs here, Old Ying introduced. Whoosh. A figure flashed and appeared next to Zhao Feng. It was Jing Kai. Jing Kai? Everyone closely inspected Jing Kai. They couldn't feel any signs of that wicked power from Jing Kai's body. It was obvious that Zhao Feng had successfully gotten rid of it. I've been cultivating in Zhao Feng's little world. Jing Kai didn't feel much when he saw everyone else, but he still followed Zhao Feng's orders and interacted with everyone else. Zhao Feng let him out to make everyone feel safer. The group of 5 then headed toward the center of the forest. In the depths of the forest, there was a big and quiet black cave. The inside of the cave was another place, as if it was a brand new world. There was an ancient castle made from sandstone in the center of some barren grounds, and sandstorms filled the sky. Shi Yulai, hand over your wealth and draconic providence and we will let you go. There was a red-haired male covered in gold and red flames and holding a long spear in his hands, and he spoke in a forceful tone. There were 3 more people next to the red-haired male. In front of them was a wall formed from sand, which also had arrays on it. Boom. The red-haired male lashed out with his spear, and a ball of flames shot out like a blood-red flaming dragon. At the same time, a destructive flaming aura was unleashed. Boom. The sand on the wall rippled like water. The blood-red flaming dragon merged into the center and exploded. The wall then returned to normal. Tai Ling Yun, it's useless. We won't be able to break through the inheritance's defenses as well as the Shi family's bloodline in a short amount of time. A red-haired male stood on the side while 2 others stood behind him with an obedient expression. This defensive array is also extremely profound. As expected of Shen Qitze. The eyes of an array grandmaster behind the red-haired elder flashed. Every time Tai Ling Yun's attack landed on the wall, a mysterious array would weaken it. Within the wall of sand, Shi Yulai held the giant dark yellow shield that had a giant dragon carved onto it. This shield was in the center of the wall, and it couldn't be moved around. What powerful offense! As expected of the peerless prodigy of the Tai family's younger generation. His blood devil son bloodline is terrifying. Shi Yulai groaned. If it wasn't for the fact that his inheritance sacred weapon could utilize part of the little world inheritance's power, how could their group reach a stalemate against the 4th prince's group? Senior Shen Qitze, why don't we use the arrays in our dragon jades and escape? Su Qingling's face was pale white. It was obvious that she was heavily injured. /boxnovel.com. There's no need. Someone's here to save us. An old elder sitting in the middle suddenly opened his eyes. They were like stars in the night, and they seemed to contain a profound philosophy.